This is the Biz News Podcast, one-on-one conversations with experts in business and personal development.
Canadian politician Claudette Cain Coulas is capping a life of multiple careers with a book to pay it forward for women trying to launch or accelerate their careers. She's created what she describes as a roadmap that can lead passionate, driven, and committed women to what she calls an exciting life filled with peace and serenity. In this Bizgnus Interview podcast, she addresses those seemingly contradictory goals. Radio, television, newspapering, politics. You have had a career that anybody would envy, including 5 times mayor of your city of Gloucester. So were you outspoken, or did you just manage to speak out to gain that career?
You know, Douglas, I've been known for a long time. I guess all my life as to shooting from the hip and telling it like it is. And so that helped me in public life. It helped me it also helped me when I was on the bench as a justice of the peace. And in the media, I guess that's why they came to me about having a radio show and a TV show and a column. But at first I just laughed at them. I thought, how the hell can I do this? But it was a really fun gig for 3 years to have those 3 things happening at the same time. I met wonderful people, you know, and it was the first time I was on the other side of the mic, the other side of the camera. So it was fun.
A bit of learning on that side, to say the least. It certainly is different than being in front of the camera.
Oh, yes. Yes. So much so. Yeah.
Now, you have created something that you call a roadmap that, as you say, can lead passionate, driven, and committed women to an exciting life filled with peace and serenity. But wait a minute. An exciting life filled with peace and serenity sounds contradictory.
Sounds like an oxymoron. But, you know, there's a such thing as we call a quiet enthusiasm. And a quiet enthusiasm is that you have joy and excitement and positivity going on inside you, in your soul. You're comfortable in your skin, in your own skin. And what goes on around you, you're shielded, because you have that quiet enthusiasm. And the roadmap is just a path, an easier path to achievement of your goals. It bypasses things like burnout and fear and anxiety, and gets you right to the positive thinking in no time. It's a bonus. It's no sweat. But you have to go through the steps. I mean, nothing is free, right? So the steps are pretty clear. It helps us women stay focused to get to where it is we want to go.
What are those steps? Could you outline them for us?
I can. You know, I'll go right to my roadmap to give you a little bit of a sense. If I could put my hands on it here.
It's probably the roadmap's over at the gas station down the street.
No, it's in the book, and it starts out with 3 principles of dream, design, and shine. So those are your 3 things you want to accomplish, and you start off in the dream section by discovering and becoming aware of your power, of what you need to be successful, and then creating the mindset. That's the big thing. Right? You got to flip the switch. I can't do this. What do you mean I'm going to go in politics? I can't talk in public. How often do you hear that? And particularly from women, because, you know, we're still in a man's world, not taking anything away from men, but we have to step up. Women have to step up if they want to be in the chair of the boardroom, or they want to be on Parliament Hill, or they want to be right where you are, speaking to people on social media, on traditional media. We have to learn how to make a difference. And so it starts off with that mindset. And then we talk about creating and designing a path, tasks, activities to get to closer to where you're going. And we have what I'm calling a focus builder system that attempts to help us stay focused on the end result. And so it's week after week, we make sure that we're on the right track, and or do we have to make a change? And we have to be able to learn to influence. If I don't know, if I don't put myself out there and introduce myself and tell you what I have to offer, then I'm not going to get it behind your mic like you are, you know? And so we have to acknowledge our strengths and our weaknesses and surround ourselves with people who can help us, not people who are going to tell us everything we want to hear. I was fortunate enough to have a mentor for all of my public life, and even more than all my public life. And anytime I needed to bounce something off someone, or I had fear grappling me, I would call my coach, call my mentor. And I could depend on her to tell me how it is and to encourage me. And that's what I want to do with my roadmap, with my book, is to encourage more women to believe in themselves, to focus on what inspires them, and then dare them to take a risk on themselves and get out there. And, you know, I call it become the CEO of your own life. We have a lot to offer. And I would say all of us would like to think that they can help someone else. They want to help someone else. And that's what I hope to do.
For you, were those first steps easy?
Oh my, no. I was scared to death. I'd never spoken in public when I first entered politics. I didn't plan my campaign well. I didn't know my community very well. So I lost the election by less than 1 vote per poll. That hurt, but it was a lesson learned. The next election, I had more than I needed of money to run the campaign. I had hundreds of volunteers. I was involved in several groups within my community, and I won the election. In fact, I got more votes than the mayor at the time. So then I went on, and like you mentioned, I won 5 consecutive elections by preparing, by walking my talk. I told it like it is. And the result was that I was very successful in achieving those goals that I needed to. But I listened to my coach, and she was a mayor. She's 101 years old today, known and respected globally, a former mayor of the city of Mississauga, Ontario. They call her Hurricane Hazel. And she just signed a 3-year contract with the international airport to be on their board of directors at 101. She wrote the foreword to my book, and I copied everything she did that I could. You know, emulating your heroines or your heroes doesn't make you a fraud. You're smart if you do it, if you do the good things. So my city benefited from me copying what she did. And the city became more prosperous. The city had no debt. The city had tons of millions of dollars in the bank. And it was all due that I watched her like a hawk. I watched what she did, and we were successful because of that.
Well, do you ever contemplate getting back into politics?
If I wasn't as old as I am.
Wait, you're not
young as
101. Come on.
It was definitely my dream job, no doubt about that. I woke up every morning for 20 some years just jumping out of bed. But I've been there, done that, and I think I have my background can help other women who are afraid today to put their name on a ballot. It takes guts to do that. Like, what does it mean? Everybody's going to hate me. Everybody's going to slam the door on me. No, that's not true. That's just not true. If you're straightforward, if you're honest, if you never compromise your integrity, you can make a difference in your community, in your state or province, or in your country, or even globally. Look at these young girls making their mark, like Malala and the other one, the young one there that is on climate change. They're going to leave their mark, these young girls. They already have. So my goal is to help more women do that.
How do you help people decide they're actually going to get off their duffs and vote? We hear so often, at least in the United States, that I'm not going to vote. I'm fed up with all those politicians, so I'm just going to sit it out. What do you tell them?
I tell them that if you don't vote, you're giving up your constitutional right to have a say in whatever decisions are made. And then I tell the story about the life in the day of a politician. It's not to be dishonest. It's not to try and line their pockets. Like, let's face it, people can make a heck of a lot more money at being in the corporate world, at being an entrepreneur, than being in politics. I mean, if you're a backbencher, just shut up and do your thing and do what the leader says, and that's it, But what I liked about being mayor is I could call my own shots, A mayor actually has more power than any secretary general or any member of parliament. There's no doubt about that. Because the member of parliament has to do what the leader says. A mayor does not. A mayor is the leader and has to have the cooperation of their council. But if you're a good leader, you can bring them along as long as you're not disrespectful. If you recognize that the other members around the table have an agenda too, they want to help their community too. So I try and emphasize that people entering public life are usually scared, just like entering any career. And if you're not scared, it's probably not worth trying. But it's a scary thing, no doubt about it. And I was scared to knock on that first door. But I didn't get doors slammed. And it's not because I have a pretty face. It's because I gave my name and said, I'd like to run to help my community. What's on your mind? That's how you learn, by asking what's their concerns, coming up with some ideas to fix them. And then the most important is asking for their vote, asking for their support. If you don't ask it, why are you there?
You have said the following: never have fear of failure, but be terrified of regret. Would you explain that?
Yes. Fear of failure is, I can't get out of my seat. I can't go and put my name and apply to be in politics, or I can't apply to be an anchor or on that show, that TV show or the radio, or be on the bench of a court. I'm too scared. So I don't do it because of my fears. And then what happens down the road? Someone you know who you think, gee, I know that person. I could have done that. Why didn't I? Why didn't I give it a shot? All they could have said to me was, no, you don't meet the qualifications, but you know, if you try this, this, and this, you might turn out to be able to come on next time. That's where the regrets hurt. And sometimes the regret you can't undo because it's too long of a time. For example, writing a book. How many people, I don't think I've ever met anyone who hasn't said they thought about writing a book. And I never thought I'd get this off the ground, but I did. And at my ripe old age of 72, to write a book and to continue helping women with it, I'm not going to have regrets. If I had not moved my butt, I would have had regrets. You see what I mean? So the failure, scared of failure. I'm scared I'm not good enough. I have anxiety. I can't talk in public. People are going to think I'm crazy. But then if you don't do it, you may have a lot of regret down the road. You don't want to be on your deathbed and say, oh, I wish I could have blank.
Oh, hold the book up again, because we want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's called Ladies, Take Your Place. Leave your mark politically, professionally, and personally.
And if ladies don't take their place, do you expect places to be given for them?
No. I am very strong on being against what they call the quota system. Yes, I believe we should all be equal, but not set in legislation that you have to have this and you have this many women and you have to. I mean, we've got a responsibility and we need to be accountable for our own actions. It's the best person for the job. If you happen to be a man, well, too bad, ladies. Go fix things so that you can be as qualified as the next guy. And the quote that I like to say is, men their rights and nothing more, women their rights and nothing less. So we have a right, and so do men. And I'm still working with men on achieving their goals. I work mostly with women, but I'm helping men at this moment consider entering politics. And so, no, I don't believe in quotas, but I believe in women being able to bring a unique perspective to any decision-making table, and bring out the compassion, the common sense, the solution. You know, when you're a mom, for example, it's never about mom. It's always about all the kids and the hubby and all that, and you got to figure it out. Well, we bring that to a decision-making table, and we can, if we're smart and we've got the right mindset and we've got the skills, then we can work very well with men at a table. And we're not putting men down to bring women up. That's not fair. It's not where we should be in life. We should be working together, because hopefully in whatever field we go, we both have the same goal. You know, you want to make sure that your viewers enjoy watching you, that they get educated, that they get maybe inspired, that they get motivated to get off the couch and do something, you know? So that's what Ladies Take Your Place is all about.
Now, there must be a website where someplace where people could get in touch with you. What would that be?
Well, I want to offer them, all your viewers, a bonus. And that is a free downloadable copy of my second little handbook, and that's called Keychain to Success. And it's a lot of little strategies and tasks and checklists to make it where you want to go. So I'll give you a free one of those and a free 30-minute coaching call with me. No strings attached, no hidden agenda. Whatever you're thinking about doing in your life, let's see if you feel blocked, if you feel fear. Let's see if talking to me for 30 minutes or so can unblock some of that and get you going and put your name on that ballot or make that application to take your job, Douglas. So the website is ClaudetteCainCoulas.com.
Now, what would you like to add that we haven't had a chance to talk about? It's been pretty wide ranging, but there's probably some area I've not touched on that you want to get out.
Well, I think that the most important thing is go and get yourself someone who's going to help you to do what you need to do. We don't need to do it alone. We're used to working in the back rooms and organizing things and preparing things. And if you go in a campaign office, you'll see it's a pile of women back there stuffing envelopes and making phone calls. And we need to get at the front office. And I think my background can certainly help women do that. And my background, I think what we didn't touch on is, even if you've had trauma, even if you've had severe challenges, and even if you come from a dysfunctional family life, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. I had to deal with mental illness at a very young age, before the age of 25, with severe psychotic breakdowns, and one time after that. And I came out of that deep, dark hole and finally revealed it only in the last year, because I've retired and I don't have to answer to anyone. But even if you've had that mental illness, and I'm sure most of us have been through depression one time or other in their lives. So I have a special place in my heart for those who have suffered or are suffering now, and hopefully talking with them can give them hope and inspiration that they can make it in life. I've had 4 successful careers, despite having that, I call it now, the gift of desperation, because that's where I was. I was desperate. I was like Naomi Judd, almost, very close. And yet I went on to have a very successful life, happy life. And so can you and anyone else if they give it a shot. But I'd love it if someone would if they want to know whether they've got what it takes, or if they have a bit of fear and anxiety, which is quite normal. I'd love to give them the opportunity to have a chat with me and let them know that how they can get started, because that's the biggest thing. They don't know how to get started. They think a slam door, or like I did when I was invited to in the media. I mean, I thought, like, they're crazy asking me this. I don't even know what it's all about. But I learned along the way, and I had my mentor, and there's so many, it doesn't matter the walk of life you want to do. If you realize what it is you can bring to the table, to the tea party, then we can work on it and get you there in sometimes in record time, and just by a few tweaks here and there in your life. And it all starts right here. And even if you've been ill, as I had, you can still make it. And I'm supporting a couple of charities. One, of course, with Women for Mental Health, and Dawn House, which is a home for unhoused women. And they will share the proceeds of my book project. It's time to give back.
You've been watching the Biz News Podcast. We welcome your input. Send your email to editor@biznews.com. Thanks for watching.